this is Miss Wood's class, and we're going to learn to do printmaking. So our materials list is we have some ink, some styrofoam cut out from a magazine, brayer, 2 brayers, some tape, and then obviously some paper to print onto, and a pen. So the first thing you want to do is you want to tear out something. If you're starting and this is new, just keep it simple. So all you're going to do is tape this down, and then you're going to trace, and you want to bear down so that it really bears down into the foam. You want to use a pen and not use pencil, because pencil tends to tear the magazine and also tear the foam, whereas the pen will glide. So you want to trace over the whole thing so that it leaves an impression. And I don't know if you can really see the impression or not. Maybe a little bit. So then what you're going to do after you've done that, then you're going to bear down again, tracing everything so that you have a deeper crevice that will print better. So that's just an example of what you do. So you would trace over the whole thing first, then you're going to tear off this magazine, you'll no longer need it. Then you're going to retrace onto the foam, just like we've done in this one that we already have. So here's a picture of a horse in the shape of a heart. So we have bared down into it, and now we're going to ink. So when you're ready to ink, and if you don't have like a lot of materials, so I'm just going to use, usually you would have an inking plate. I'm just going to use a magazine. So what you would do is you would take and open up your ink. And obviously you have to pull off all of the stuff if it's brand new. And I would struggle with this. Okay, so then you would take your ink, and we're using white. So white might be a little difficult to see on the actual printing plate, but you'll see after it prints what it should actually, if you have too much or not enough. So you want to roll back and forth with this so that it spreads out. And make sure that it's not too thick in one area, otherwise it's going to be clumpy. So I'm trying to thin this out so it's evenly. Alright, so then I now have it thin. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to ink right onto this. So again, it's going to be hard to see because it is white and the foam is white. So you kind of just have to look at it and hope that you have it on there, and then you need maybe some more ink. Okay, it's nice and even. And then you're going to get your printing paper, and this is just purple paper that I've cut with a pair of scissors. So what you want to do is really be careful about how you lift this up so that you don't touch the sides, because it's going to leave your fingerprint, and you don't want a fingerprint. So you're going to take it, find the center as best you can, or you can trim it later. So you're going to lay that down, and then I always flip it over, and then with your clean brayer, just really roll over all of the edges, pressing down as firmly as possible. And then before you lift the whole thing, you want to check a corner. So like I'm just going to pull up a little bit to see if it's transferring, and see it's not transferring as bright white as I'd hoped. So you can see as I'm pulling it up, you can see it's kind of faded a little bit. So probably what it means is I need to re-ink it, or you can press down again with using your fingers in maybe some of the areas where it didn't transfer as well. So you can see I'm pressing pretty hard, and you can see the curves of where the styrofoam is. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this anyway. So you're going to take it and pull it, okay? So it is a mirrored image. So if you are doing letters or numbers, you really want to take into consideration that you have to, on here, write it backwards so that it does transfer correctly. But again, I'd probably need to re-ink this so that it actually came out a little bit more darker in the white. So anyway, that's how you do a print.